this stuff ain't real, no. I'm cruising forward beneath the Hollywood signs. I'm gonna need my personal journal to stay so cut so tight. Every time you call, I'm gonna make you gold. I'm gonna make you gold. Every time you call, I'm gonna make you gold. Oh no. When all I want to be now is you. Baby, burn in my body, baby. And all I wanna do, all I wanna do, is command and press some jelly, jelly. I'm a vegan hot dog on the way to Jupiter. I'm a Christmas tree, dripping cheese with. I'm a dancing to dancing. Every time you call, I'm gonna make you gold. I'm gonna make you gold. Every time you call, I'm gonna make you gold. Oh no. When all I wanna be now is you. Baby, burn in my body, baby. And all I wanna do.
Welcome to WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Today's going to be a fun one, huh? We're talking about, of course, Donald Jessica Trump going to Fulton County Jail. Talk about what normal folks have to go through. There were country songs written about Fulton County. David Feldman recently showed pictures of the inside of Fulton County Jail on his stream, and it made me laugh. And I hope very much that even for just 5 minutes, Trump has to wait in a cell. He won't, but I hope. Ooh, it's a good one. How are y'all doing? Anti-corporatist, good to see you. Christy Z, hello. Rex Trek, hello. What did I see up there? Domenico, good to see you. I'll tell you. So let me give special thanks to Domenico for a moment. This man has been given the U.S. as a whole his support, his moral support, and I appreciate it genuinely. The idea that folks are rooting for justice it gives me hope. Before we jump into live streaming outside the court, let's have a look at precisely what it is we're going to be talking about today. This is from the home of the Fresh Prince, 6 ABC in Philadelphia.
To be arrested for a fourth time. He announced late this afternoon he will surrender to authorities in Georgia at 7:30 tonight. He'll be booked at the Fulton County Jail, a process that will include the first ever mugshot of a former American president. It is Thursday afternoon. I'm Brian Taff.
And I'm Sarah Bloomquist. The big story on Action News is the impending surrender of former President Donald Trump in Georgia. He is one of 19 defendants charged with taking part in an illegal conspiracy to overturn the results of the 2020 election in that state. Many of those defendants have already surrendered ahead of tomorrow's noon deadline.
Well, the scene outside that jail has been an active one all day long. ABC's Em Nguyen is there now. She joins us now with more on what's expected tonight. Em?
Yeah, Brian, Sarah, as I walked through the front of the jail area, which is just opposite of where I am right now, I saw a number of supporters and detractors for the former president gathered outside in that area, putting authorities on high alert as they brace for Trump's arrival, which is expected this evening. All eyes on Atlanta, Georgia, where former President Donald Trump is expected to surrender to authorities on felony charges.
This is crazy. It's sad, and I never thought I would see it in my life.
Ahead of his arrest at the Fulton County Jail, Trump shaking up his legal team, adding Steve Sadow, a well-known Atlanta criminal defense attorney who claims the former president should never have been indicted.
I think the question with Trump is always, is he going to listen to his good lawyers as a case proceeds? Because when you have reputable attorneys, they're going to give you good advice.
The 2024 GOP frontrunner telling conservative host Tucker Carlson he believes these charges are politically motivated. Trump's fourth criminal indictment stemming from his alleged efforts to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election results.
I'm so high in the polls because it means the people get it. The people see it's a fraud.
Trump will be fingerprinted and for the first time have his mugshot taken before he's released on a $200,000 bond. District Attorney Fani Willis has given Trump and his...
Just to be absolutely clear, Trump has been treated with kid gloves, and he has done actions in public that if they were not investigated, would have been cause for just starting a new country, just starting a country that's capable of actually behaving in a civilized manner. Trump's actions in public have almost every day been a new set of crimes, including intimidating witnesses. Just generally obstructing justice, lying about things that are dangerous to lie about, including that the election was stolen. The election was not stolen from him. He has been unable to produce any evidence whatsoever. And if he had the evidence, if he were to pull out a piece of evidence right now that were to prove without a shadow of a doubt that that's what happened, it's too damn late. He had until January 6th at the absolute latest. That's how long he had. He was unable to do that. So he's not the president because we are a country of laws, and because he still tried to be the president after you and me said he couldn't be anymore. That's why he's here. He broke a load of laws trying to hold on to power.
Remaining alleged co-conspirators until noon Eastern on Friday to turn themselves in. Nearly all have completed their bond agreements, and a number have already been arrested and processed, including Rudy Giuliani, who's accused of conspiring with Trump to illegally reverse Joe Biden's 2020 win.
I'm being prosecuted for defending an American citizen who I do as a lawyer.
Today, Trump's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, booked and processed after he had his request to avoid reporting to the jail by Friday denied. Willis has now subpoenaed at least 4 witnesses, including Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, to appear. And Trump's lawyers are pushing back on a trial start date of October 23rd, that date requested by the DA for all 19 defendants after one of them asked for a speedy trial. In Atlanta, Em Nguyen, Channel 6, Action News.
So that's the basics. This is the Fulton County trial. I'm be enjoying a chocolate milkshake in celebration, because I think this motherfucker's guilty. Yeah, we don't know, and we'll find out as evidence is revealed in trial. The prosecutors obviously think he's guilty. That's why they're bringing the case. Based on the fact that Trump is a habitual liar and he says he's innocent, well, that alone makes me think he's guilty. If Trump were to tell me that the sun was a sphere, I would immediately wonder, but is it a cube? He just said sphere. Is it not a sphere? How is it not a sphere? We're about to find out because Trump just said it was one. That's how much this guy lies. So, good. We're off to a hell of a good start this Thursday. Wicked Foxy, I've been dancing too. I'm so excited. Absolutely. Oh, I've been dancing too. I'm so indicted. Right. I mean, if that's that Randy Rainbow song, then absolutely. Christy Z. Oh, okay. Has anyone been dancing to I'm So Excited by the Pointer Sisters? I cannot wait for this mugshot. All right, well done, Foxy. Well done. Oh, my God. I will dance to I'm So Excited in your honor, Christy. That's badass. Pinker Bell, Spirit Halloween opened early this year. Oh, Lordy. Wireless Mike, good to see you. Jess Rush, I'm so damn excited for the mugshot. Me too. Oh, I can't wait. I don't attend any classes of any sort, but I'm gonna go find a 90s style Trapper Keeper just to put that mugshot in it and show that off. Walk around town with the Trump mugshot for sure. All right, gang. There is one bit of humor that I want to enjoy. 7:18. This thing's starting proper at 7:30, and given the fact that it's Trump, I just assume he'll be quite late. But there was something those cats over at the Midas Touch did recently that I would very much like to share with you. Listen, I don't endorse breaking the law in any way. I think if we accept that as being the way we operate, then we are dooming ourselves to chaos for all time. That said, from time to time, a scamp wins me over, and this one did.
Hey everyone, welcome to What Was That? I'm Gabe Sanchez. Hackers have taken control of Donald Trump's new grifting website, the Patriot Legal Defense Fund, and have defaced it with something truly amazing.
I think we've been hacked.
I can't help it. This is just so on brand for the orange idiots. Now, due to the fact that Donald Trump is facing mounting indictments, lawsuits, and various legal issues, his political operation has had to steer more money than ever into covering his legal fees. According to a report from Open Secrets, groups in former President Donald Trump's political network have reported using about $130 million in donor funds to pay lawyers and cover legal costs since he first began running for office. Trump's legal costs have gotten so high that he's been forced to find a new way around campaign finance laws. So, as a result, he launched a new grifting machine called the Patriot Legal Defense Fund. His new fund is registered with the IRS as a special type of political nonprofit under Section 527 of the tax code, also known as 527 or a shadow group. I mean, the fact that it's known as a shadow group tells you everything you need to know about it. And its unique tax code allows Trump to draw unlimited donations from individuals and corporations, The whole thing is incredibly sketchy, and some even consider it to be illegal. Also, this new Patriot Legal Defense Fund should not be confused at all with Trump's earlier Patriot Legal Expense Fund from 2018 or Trump's fabricated election defense fund from 2020. You know, the one where the Trump campaign took $250 million in donations that it said would go to an election defense fund to pay for legal fees to overturn the 2020 presidential election results, but then didn't.
The Trump campaign knew these claims of voter fraud were false, yet they continued to barrage small-dollar donors with emails, encouraging them to donate to something called the Official Election Defense Fund. The Select Committee discovered no such fund existed.
I don't believe there is actually a fund called the Election Defense Fund.
Is it fair to say that the Election Defense Fund was another, I think we've called it a marketing tactic? Yes.
The claims that the election was stolen were so successful, President Trump and his allies raised $250 million, nearly $100 million in the first week after the election. On November 9th, 2020, President Trump created a separate entity called the Save America PAC. Most of the money raised went to this newly created PAC, not to election-related litigation. The Select Committee discovered that the Save America PAC made millions of dollars of contributions to pro-Trump organizations, including $1 million to Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' charitable foundation, $1 million to the America First Policy Institute, a conservative organization which employs several former Trump administration officials, $204,857 to the Trump Hotel Collection, and over $5 million to Event Strategies, Inc., the company that ran President Trump's January 6 rally on the Ellipse. The evidence.
Let's just look at that. Can we just agree that this guy is currently running a criminal operation? I mean, for Christ's sake, a great way to lessen the amount of crimes in this particular crime spree that we're letting him get away with, because he apparently realized that America is terrified of ever holding a rich person. Or a great thing for us to do would be to just not let him go tonight. There are lots of people in Fulton County Jail who have been there for a very long time, awaiting release. Just dropped down to no internet for a second. Looks like we're back. Good. There's lots of people in Fulton County Jail that have been in there awaiting their court date. We're just waiting to see the judge. Why does Trump get to cut to the front of the line? His crimes are a hell of a lot more dangerous than a lot of the crimes that people are being just held indefinitely over. Just being held for months and months and months and months. Well, we wait to decide what we're going to do with them. Yeah, we can take as much time as we want to decide what we're going to do with Trump, as long as he's not out here bothering decent people.
Strategies, Inc., the company that ran President Trump's January 6 rally on the Ellipse. The evidence developed by the Select Committee highlights how the Trump campaign aggressively pushed false election claims to fundraise, telling supporters it would be used to fight voter fraud that did not exist.
Actually, here's a little explainer I made back in November 2020, right after Trump launched his legal defense scam.
Welcome to President Trump's Election Defense Fund. I'd like to make a donation to stop Biden from stealing the election. Excellent. How much would you like to donate? $10. That's a start, I guess. $20? $50? I'm sure you can give more to help Daddy Trump. Well, money's pretty tight since we lost our business due to COVID. Yeah, that's a bummer. And we didn't qualify for Trump's stimulus check. Listen, are you gonna donate or what? Well, I guess I could do $100 just this once. Great. Wait, why are you splitting the money up like that? Well, 60% goes to Trump's new leadership PAC, Save America. For the recount? No, it's used to pay off Trump's campaign debt and whatever he wants, really. Okay, but what about the rest? The other 40% goes to the Republican National Committee, which isn't required to spend it on the recount at all. But I just gave you $100. None of that goes to the recount. You said you were MAGA for life. I am MAGA. MAGA? MAGA. 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 Now shut up and give me more money, bitch.
And days after I made that in 2020, Trump changed the amount that went to his Save America PAC from 60% to 75%. This scam would later be dubbed by the January 6th committee as
the big ripoff.
And then fast forward to July 2023, the new Patriot Legal Defense Fund launches, and it pretty much resembles one of Trump's deranged press releases full of his victimhood language. Help defend Donald Trump, because there is seemingly no boundary the radical left won't breach, no depth to which they will not plunge. You can start by donating to the Patriot Legal Defense Fund to defend Donald Trump and his allies. The Patriot Legal Defense Fund is our bulwark, our fortress in the storm. It's where we band together to safeguard those who served during the Trump administration, those wrongfully caught in the crosshairs of these endless investigations. And as of filming this episode, Trump's Patriot Legal Defense Fund has now been infiltrated by hackers, and they've defaced it with a very important message. At the very top of the page, it has Trump crossed out and says, "Hey, America is already great. Do not support Donald Trump's fraudulent Patriot Legal Defense Fund. Our Constitution, the big rule book of our nation, says that we're all equal. Nobody gets special treatment. A lie is when someone doesn't tell the truth on purpose. In some cases, like when people lie to the courts or the police, it's not just bad, it's a crime. Personal character is the mix of qualities that define a person, like honesty, kindness, and courage. It's how you act when no one is looking. It's doing the right thing even when it's tough. When we think about American presidents, there are some character traits that we've traditionally valued. We want leaders who are honest, brave, and selfless. These qualities have guided our nation through good and tough times, and they remind us what's great about America. Asking people to give money to your political campaign is okay when it's for the right reasons, like getting support to try to make the country better. But asking your friends to donate money to the Patriot Legal Defense Fund and then using that money to defend yourself from crimes? That doesn't seem right. A president is a citizen that has the job of a president for a while, but he is still just a citizen and subject to its laws. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but if someone keeps getting into trouble, we should think about what that means about someone's character. If a leader isn't truthful, it's hard to trust them, and that makes them dangerous. We should care about what's right and good for our country, not just one person. The hackers also made sure to change the links at the bottom of the page from supporting Trump to now supporting the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the ACLU, the Brennan Center for Justice, and Rock the Vote. Trump's Legal Defense Fund being defaced by hackers is not only hilarious, but is also totally on brand for Trump. And as much as the defacement is a long rant about Donald Trump, it's an important essay about personal character and truth. Now, will it work to educate Trump's sycophants and make them see Trump as a grifting liar? Probably not, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this is a brilliant move. And again, as of filming this episode right now, the Legal Fund website is not fixed and is still under control of the hackers, which...
Amazing. Amazing. In the hacking community, that person would technically be called a black hat hacker, as opposed to a white hat hacker. But let's upgrade him to gray, at the very least. That was not somebody who was hacking for personal benefit. That was somebody who hacked into that website with a damn fine message. Your old pal Jake approves. Well done. It was supposed to be a check mark. It ended up being a little jazz hands. But whatever. I approve. Good job. Good job. Yeah, Trump deserves to have his website hacked because he's using it to steal from people. And the people he's stealing from need to be told about these simple concepts. What is character? Why is lying bad? They need these things explained to them, so I'm glad that it was explained to them there, and in a format or at a location they are likely to go to. There we are. SS1964 Republic Clan Z. Oh my God. Republic Clan Z. Terror 45 terrorist sadist mugshots are the very best mugshots. Yes, indeed. Christy Z, that hacker, my hero. Although, based on my upload speeds, maybe they're getting one over your old pal as well. Tinkerbell, nice. Oh yeah, people are enjoying the hacker. Good. Once in a while, it's good to know that the scamps are on the side of the goodies as well. All right, let's check in. I cannot keep the powder dry on this anymore. I really want to watch this as it's happening. Let's watch it together. There we go. All right, here's Trump arriving to get arrested again. Jailbird mother. There it is. Oh, it feels good. So too, when you inevitably hear somebody who's trying to sound mature and professional say that this is a sad day for America, first of all, let me just give a head nod here. The live stream brought to us by the Associated Press. They, as well as Reuters, are some of the institutions that are keeping the idea of the press alive and well. So good on you. But if you see somebody, let's hope. Let me check this here. If you see somebody talking about this like it is a sad day, understand that they are misunderstanding the situation we're in. The sad day was when the alleged crime was committed. To have a former president arrested is not a sad thing in a democracy. It's a sign of a democracy recovering. It's not unlike a fever. It's the democracy fighting off those forces which were harming it. We don't know. If we're being real, we can't say that we honestly do know that Trump did this, that, or the other thing until it's been through court. We can say we think, and I'll tell you, I sure think this mother did it. I think this guy tried to steal an election in 2020. But it's not sad that he's on his way to sign up for the court, the court proceedings. My fingers are crossed that signal stays strong. It's not a bad thing that he's on his way to do that. It is a good thing. This is the criminal justice system finally working, finally. And in fact, it is so not a sad thing that we actually, after all this is done, will have to go back and have a serious conversation with those who are supposed to be when this guy was recorded trying to pressure election officials. Why, when people from his own party were saying he was breaking the law? Why it took 3 years to put together a case? It should not have. Let's get some sound. Now here's what I'm thinking. There's no need for Trump to go through prison all on his lonesome. I was listening for it, doesn't matter. George W. Bush killed lots and lots of people based on a lie. We sign up and allow ourselves to be part of the International Criminal Court, might be able to toss his ass in a prison cell as well. I'm willing, just to keep Trump company, I'm willing to take a real hard look at Bill Clinton. They could start their own little gang in there. You know how like the brothers will group up in various groups, the Islamists and the what have you, and then Nazis they'll group together and use the buddy system. But why shouldn't the presidents group up, form their own little gang? I don't know. I just know that Trump will have the best knowledge of the commissary before the other fellas arrive to join him. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Christy Z, we are so close. Yes, 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 yes. Groove Dragon, Associated Press is showing it live too. Yes, indeed. We're using the Associated Press's feed. Elaine Sharp, I have it on my TV. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Diana Dean, I'm so glad to hear someone other than me who thinks the whole sad day in America is BS. It was sad when he was elected and every day after that, but there's nothing sad about seeing accountability. You just said in one line what I took 5 minutes to say. Noted. Well done. Yeah. There's nothing sad about accountability. If you want to be sad about the crime. But the accountability, that's not something we should pretend. It's not something we need to put the brakes on. We've seen enough. There's enough evidence.
You can't go around.
There's enough evidence that we should be more concerned that it took this long, is all I'm saying. And I'm sorry that hearing the cameraman shout about the situation. All right, sorry for that brief drop, but we actually do have another stream that I'd like to look at. Here's NBC. Let's see what they're saying. If it's good, watch some MSNBC, it'll get the recommendation.
Just a number of issues around this jail. But now, of course, we need to put it in perspective. It's very unlikely the former president will, of course, be in any of those cells. He's not going to be inside for any long amount of time.
Rats.
But when you talk just about the facility that he is stepping foot inside, that certainly lets you know just the gravity of this situation, Lester.
All right. Can't you just wait for him to step on anything squishy and wet? Ew, my toe! What is that? Oh God, is that toilet paper? Oh God, do I cut off my toe? What do I do?
And actually, we're around the corner from where Blaine has been reporting from. This is actually the main entrance of the Fulton County Jail. And as you can see, there are now several dozens, if not more than 100 demonstrators that have, some of them have been here really throughout the day. And we've seen an increased security presence that has been ramping up throughout the day, Lester, just as a precaution. This has been a very calm crowd, not much tension here, but there is a lot of frustration by Mr. Trump's supporters that have come here. There have been a few counter demonstrators as well, very few of them. But I want to talk to one person really quickly. I just met you, Penny. She's from Atlanta, and you decided to come here today. Why are you here?
I'm here to support Donald Trump and every American's right to freedom of speech.
And do you think, you were telling me earlier, you believe that President Biden did win the 2020 election, but you're not a fan of these prosecutions, you don't buy the charges?
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much for speaking with us, Penny. And Lester, we have spoken with others here who are frustrated, and they do believe that this is a political persecution.
I do not like how reasonable she was, because she was extraordinarily reasonable and extraordinarily misinformed. His freedom of speech. What's he talking about? Freedom of speech. I said, I'll give you money to kill my wife. Why are you arresting me? I can say things.
Shot from his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, who's out on $100,000 bail. But again, just a credible thing to witness here, Lester. All the dozens at least of former President Trump supporters, if not more than 100 here, are out here trying to get the message across that they believe that this prosecution is unwarranted.
All
Lester.
right, Gabe, thank you. Let me bring Laura back. We received word that he's officially been booked.
Yeah.
Walk us through the steps here, because we've seen two of these in federal court. We saw one in state court in New York, in which He was essentially arraigned. The first appearance is an arraignment. At what point does that happen where he's able to plead not guilty or guilty?
And every state does this a little bit differently. But the reason that we're seeing this in sort of a two-step situation is Georgia actually has you come in, you surrender, and then the arraignment, where you hear the formal charges, that happens at a later date. And that may happen the week of September 5th. That's what the district attorney wants. We'll see exactly what date it is. But we now have the booking information here, which lays out all the charges. It lays out the bond amount. That's something that's different in this case. In other cases, he's been released on his own personal recognizance, which basically means you sign a statement saying, I'm going to show up. In this case, he had to use a bail bondsman. Again, it just sort of underscores this is a different type of case. This is I think, perhaps a more humbling experience walking in the facility, as Blaine and Gabe laid out. I mean, this is a place that's, has bed bugs, right? This is not a cozy environment. And again, being able to have to put up money, essentially, not, actually paying money to the court, but using this bail bondsman to sort of expedite the process so that hopefully that he doesn't have to stay any longer than he would want to there. You can imagine why someone would want to do that. But even, again, just sort of the simple things like having to provide your weight, right? Like these are things that you can imagine the former commander-in-chief.
Over and under. Over under. Everybody give me this. In fact, oh, hell. You know what? I'm going to use technology. Let's let her
Strength
talk.
from these prosecutions, but there will come a time after this arraignment that this will get quieter, at least in some pockets. So is it really I mean, you've talked to the Trump folks. Are they concerned that over time this will kind of fade out of the daily headlines and that he's left with the scar of it all?
I think they are concerned about the fact that it will start to chip away at his support, if not in the primary, in the general election. And Lester, to your point about what we expect to happen over time, these court cases and court proceedings are going to intersect with key dates on the campaign trail. And that, from a logistical standpoint, poses particular challenges. So I think that is one of the concerns that they have in terms of keeping it in the spotlight. I think he is going to do that. I think you are going to continue to hear him make the case that this is a political persecution, as Hallie said earlier, that he is fighting on behalf of the American people. This is a
Over under. What do you think? Trump being 260 pounds. Also, are they going to measure him heel to the top of the head? Because I don't believe he's 6'2". And it doesn't really matter, other than it's yet another thing he will have lied about. Let's find out. I love that these folks are discussing the conditions. Look, I'll give Trump credit where he's due. Folks on NBC are talking about the conditions in Fulton County Jail. And they're used to talking about this like it's just matter of fact. Well, it does have bed bugs, and that's a nightmare, so he wouldn't like that. So, of course, he's not going to be... They wouldn't dare ask him to actually spend a night there. But he does have to be around the gross stuff for a moment, and that might be humbling. Jesus Christ. Good. So we can acknowledge that as part of the cruel and unusual punishment we subject a whole hell of a lot of people to in this country, just soaking them in bed bugs for a night. That's one of the things we do and have been doing for my whole life. Okay. Are we going to just let that slide? Are we going to, as soon as Trump's away from there, are we going to choose to forget that they just acknowledged that there are hundreds of people in there right now getting chewed on by bugs by the collective decisions we have made? Does that make you a little bit furious? Shut up, Lester Holt. Does that make you a little bit furious? Definitely shut up, Chuck Todd, because it makes me furious. It makes me not give a what Chuck Todd has to say about anything else. But here's a fun thing. What if Trump went through the same process tomorrow? When would he get to even arrange for the bail bond? Not after 5 p.m. on a Friday. Are you kidding? On a weekend? After 5 p.m. On the weekend? No, sir. No. He would be put in to those wretched conditions, and he'd have to wait till Monday at 9 a.m. at the absolute earliest. And if he wasn't a famous person, and certainly if he wasn't a well-known conservative, he'd have to get in line like everybody else and hope that that day there was enough time to process him. But he certainly would be spending the weekend in a jail, even, by the way, if it turns out that he was totally innocent. All that needs to happen for you to spend the whole weekend in a jail is to get arrested on a Friday night, in some places. And in some of those places, that also means you get chewed on by bugs. And if you catch a disease, because those bugs chew on all sorts of people all the time, they're basically man-eaters at this point. If you catch a disease, that's your problem. Prove it happened there. It's your problem. You have to pay for it. Good luck, or not. They're just trying to do some slave catching is all. No, man, don't just, I hope that the whole country takes this moment to have a good, hard look at our prison system. And if it's too brutal to even imagine putting one of our leaders through it, then what the hell are we putting our citizens through it for?
Flanked by Secret Service members who are there to protect you. But of course, it was always going to be the case that the former president was going to receive special treatment at this jail because he is the former president. He is flanked by Secret Service members, and it is in both sides' interest to get in and out of there as quickly as possible. Jails are always concerned about disruptions. They're always concerned about safety. And again, they're under-resourced, understaffed. This particular jail is reportedly the source of an investment, probably like most other large county jails, an unpleasant, unsafe, inefficient place to be, unless you're the former president.
So the next guy that walks related charge, it's not going to be 15, 20 minutes.
He will not ride back in a motorcade 15 or 20 minutes after he gets out. He will probably sit on a cot that is maybe an
they were spitting
inch
truth.
thick. If there is a cot, sometimes there isn't a cot.
Yeah, sleep on the hard stone floor. I literally don't even make my dog do that.
You know, I've even seen photos of the Fulton County jail. It looks pretty similar to most other jails. Not a great place to be. Normally, you get a full health screening. I don't think he's going to get that. But of course, it really depends on what they've worked out with Secret Service.
Okay. So I just want to announce that with 15 votes, everybody said Trump will weigh over 260 pounds. Yikes. Fair enough. I can only say that you're probably gonna be right. Wicked Foxy Dragon, my man says 270. I thought he said a cock. Okay. Looney Tunes 9000 froze again. God damn, I hope not. We appear to have a decent stream going. Whoop. Let me catch it up though.
And so even though there are certainly striking differences between him and any other criminal defendant, I do think it is worth pointing out that he still does have to go through the indignity of this process.
Kristen Welker, you can't escape what we saw last night in the Republican debate. The people who are running against him, the people who want the job that he held, are having a difficult time condemning him. And what we're seeing here today, that will continue all the way up to election.
Now, you know what? I can't let that go. The indignity of the process, she says. The indignity. If it's indignant for him to go through it, why is it not an indignity for the citizens to go through it? I have this crazy thought, like the leader ought to volunteer to take the worst of any given situation. Bring it on. Ask for the smoke. That's what a leader ought to do. Why is it that we are sitting here playing the fiddle for a system of justice that Republicans insisted be as cruel as it is, and a Republican going through it. Why the hell are we doing anything but celebrating? Like, yes, this is cruel. This is no way to treat a human being. Republicans set this up. Republicans insisted it be this terrible. We're angry that a former Republican president has to go through it. No, jackass. The correct response is to giggle, because that is referred to in the playwriting business as dramatic irony.
To stay here and wait to see if they might catch a glimpse if he were to pass by here. This entire street, it is shut down, Lester. This is Rice Street, very well known here in Atlanta. And if my colleague Randy Brown can pan over there and show the police presence, the sheriff's deputies that are across the street, and actually you can see the sheriff's deputies. It might be tough to catch behind this sign here, but there are several of them that have been here really throughout the day. And we did see a ramping up of security earlier today as they put up more barricades, to try and make sure that this was an orderly process. So far, it has been. But again, several of Mr. Trump's supporters were hoping to catch a glimpse of him. But again, it's just historic. And I can tell you, Lester, from being at several of these other court proceedings in New York and also in Miami, it is remarkable to see a former president of the United States go through this, surrender to authorities here, now facing his fourth indictment. So the supporters here say that they will stay until he leaves. And again,
and fourth arrest, as David Feldman correctly pointed out about a week ago. Fourth arrest is as well. He has an arrest record. This is a ne'er-do-well. This guy gets in trouble with the fuzz all the time.
Because we're seeing the fourth one here, as you point out, in just less than 5 months. I want to bring in former federal prosecutor, NBC News legal analyst Carol Lamb. Carol, did we get a bit of a preview of the logjam to come in this case? The not just this case, all four, and the scheduling issues that could raise their heads?
Oh, we certainly have, Lester. What we've previously called a bumper cars problem with all of these trials butting up against each other. I think we now, actually, with Fani Willis's case, have a sort of broomstick problem where it's splintering into many different possible trials. And I think that Fani Willis, although she has said she really wants this trial to go quickly and to happen before the election, I think she realizes that that's likely not going to happen with all 19 defendants. And the former president has now told the court that he does not want to exercise his speedy trial rights here, the way Mr. Chesebro has. And so I think what's likely to happen is his trial will be far into the future, and Jack Smith's trial of former President Trump will probably go on much sooner.
I have always wondered with stuff like that, what are all the motorcycles supposed to do? Are those supposed to be there for catching people on foot? If you know, don't answer, because it's probably a security risk. But I'm just curious. Who's out there taking film? Interesting.
These aides have not seen the mugshot yet, but again, they have been told that there was a mugshot, and so we are waiting to get more information about that. But that was one of the big questions looming.
There's a lag in some of the earlier defendants who came in. This we would expect to see before the night is over.
Well, and we've certainly requested it along with every other media organization, as you can imagine. And, we'd wondered whether the sheriff would do this, as he had said he was going to treat him like everybody else. But as Kristen has raised, there are political implications to doing so, and he might be able to use it for his own purposes. But for the sheriff's purposes, if you're trying to show even-handed administration of justice and going through the routine booking process, this is part of that process. But Lester, this is the first time he's had to do it. In every other surrender, in New York, in Miami, in Washington, D.C., he hasn't had to take a mugshot.
It is clear that he wanted to see this. He put the information out that he would be surrendering at 7:30 tonight on his own Truth Social.
Okay, so we now have a way to measure how imbalanced our justice system is. About 1 to 4. What a rich person has to do, what a conservative has to do, it needs to be about 4 times worse than a human counterpart, by which I'm doing the contrast to rich there, or a left-leaning counterpart. He has been arrested 4 times, and only now is he getting his mugshot taken. By the way, he's been in court a hell of a lot more than that, and a court found him. It was a civil court, not a criminal court, but nonetheless, a court found him guilty of sexual assault. Or rather, to be specific, they found that he sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll. So let's not let's not pretend like this is an angel. It's not.
Considerations as to whether or not this would happen, whether or not a mugshot would actually be taken up until today. So there was certainly a lot of weight behind this decision to take a mugshot. We understand that there were conversations, perhaps some who were pushing back on it. So it's certainly very interesting to see that it actually has materialized. Now, as for here outside of the jail, I want to just kind of clock how quickly that happened. He drove in and drove out. That motorcade left within 22 minutes. That is a stunningly fast amount of time when you talk about the fact that he was able to get inside, get fingerprinted, mugshot booked, and then leave the jail in that same motorcade. Again, some inmates, some people who come in here just on, so we know, again, that the bond was already in place. We know that the booking information actually made it online before the former president even entered the building. So that just
Heads up, or rather, see you around, Diana Dean, if you're watching the replay. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Quickly, is the expectation he flies back to New Jersey tonight? All right, well, we continue to watch that motorcade as we briefly lose the signal. The former president, again, has been processed, formally booked, and as you just heard, we have confirmed that a mugshot was taken, which we presume will be released for the public at some point in the not-distant future. That concludes this NBC News special report. We'll continue coverage on our streaming network, NBC News Now.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Folks. I know. It wasn't all that special. Here's the thing, though. I enjoyed every inch of that. I was hoping we'd see the mugshot, truth be told. I wanted to get a peek, and if it comes out in a little bit, okay. We might do a quick little what you can do, or a piece of commentary. But what I really wanted to see was what it looked like when Trump got treated a little bit more like a regular person. Still not there yet. As they pointed out at the end, this could take up to 12 hours for other people. Trump got to do this in the amount of time it would take you to buy eggs from the corner market. That was the privilege Trump had. When people talk about privilege, point to this from here on out. When people say, oh, come on, people are always talking about privilege, privilege, privilege. I don't see it. They'll say, all right, well, here's an example. Fulton County Jail. Donald Trump was accused of a crime. And you can say it was fair or not to accuse him, but the point is he was accused of a crime. And when he got booked, it took about 10 seconds. Or if we want to be more literal, it took about a half hour. Other folks, when they get booked, can take up to 12 hours. And for nobody else does it last just a half hour. You get in line, you sit on a bench maybe if you're lucky, and you wait, and you spend your day there, surrounded by people who do not give a damn about what you'd rather be doing. That's privilege. What's privilege? Trump has been arrested 4 times now. And just 1 time did he get his mugshot taken. And it was the last time. It wasn't like it was the first time, and they shared that further and said there's no need to take additional mugshots. It was the last time. And again, he is a famous person. I'm not even going to argue that it's somehow dire and necessary. But there just wouldn't have even been a question with somebody else. There would not have been a question. I have seen many celebrity mugshots, but Trump, no, he's a rich conservative, so you can say that's what privilege is. And we can use this a little bit down the line, to ask questions of our misguided conservative countrymen, no matter what country you're in, actually, to say, why is it we're only now talking about the bed bugs in that county jail? Do you want to do something now about the bed bugs and the conditions that led to it? I'll tell you, I think what we're going to talk about on Friday is going to be the modern slave system that we have set up. Any country that uses private prisons is a slaving country. And we should be frank about that. And it's going to be fun as hell to use the footage we have collected tonight to talk about that. Let's see what y'all had to say about this surreal edifice. Surreal edifice. I wish we could have seen him let in by the Game of Thrones nun saying shame. Yes. Oh, that would have been a fantastic poll. I should have done that. Christy Z, Midas Touch has seemed to get them immediately. Oh, shit. Trump mug shots. Come on. No. I'm seeing all kinds of like AI stuff. I'm seeing Photoshop stuff. All right. Well, I'm not going to look. I'm going to be the humble man at the orgy. If I can't get it done, I'll pass the baton. No, it was a blast hanging out with you tonight. What I wanted to see was this son of a bitch being treated like a regular prisoner. I feel like I got it. I feel like I'm ready to unwind. Thank you for joining me tonight. We got Friday Peace Talks tomorrow, and I don't know how I'm going to get through the weekend without doing a bonus stream, so be on the lookout. Thank you so much. This has been WYCD Wicked. That stands for what you can do. I'll see you next time.